Hello ladies, it's the matchmaker Letitia Underwood here, and I wanted to have a conversation about the unfortunate truth when it comes to the marriage market. So yes, the overall mating market, you have the dating market, you have the sexual market, and then you have the marriage market. This conversation is for women who desire to be in the marriage market. Ladies, the unfortunate truth is there are not a lot of marriage-minded men out here. So, you cannot be picky, right? There's a lot of conversation about whether or not you want to do wife benefits or give wife benefits to a boyfriend and what you're not going to do, and you're not cooking and cleaning. A lot of those conversations are happening because a lot of women are not understanding the market that they're in, and then they're choosing men from the sexual market or the dating market, and they're thinking that those men are ready for marriage at the time that they are. There's really not anything that you have to do to get a man to marry you if he is ready to marry you. That's the trick. Figuring out which men are marriage-minded very quickly and very early on. They do not operate the same as those who are non-committal. They do not have the same mindset. They do not have the same language. They are men who know that when they're approaching a woman, they're approaching her and they want a committed relationship that can lead to marriage. So when you get that man, there's not much that you have to do above and beyond. He's going to step into the relationship dynamic very smoothly, and he's going to guide you through the relationship and help it to progress. The unfortunate truth is you can't be picky because there's not a lot of men out there that want marriage, that are ready for marriage at the time that you want. You cannot be picky. You cannot have it all. You either can, if you are a lucky enough woman to get a good looking, a tall, successful, high earning man, count yourself as truly being lucky and blessed. But that is not the majority of the men in the marriage market. Most of these men are average lookers. If you're looking for a man who is going to be high earning, I do suggest and recommend that you only seek men who are in the higher socioeconomic classes, the middle class, upper middle class, and upper class. You're going to have to contend with the fact that these men may be short. These men may be overweight. These men may not be lookers. So you're going to have to adjust your expectations and your reality in that regard. If you cannot do that, if you cannot bring yourself to accept the men who are on the marriage market, you will find yourself struggling, and you will more than likely get stuck dealing with non-committal men. And how do you know the difference? Because I get that a lot. Women are asking me, Miss Letitia, how do you know the difference? Marriage-minded men do not have an issue with talking about marriage. They will include you in future conversations. Their whole mindset is revolving around what the future will look like with you. They're already planning it in their heads. They're not going to say things like, well, she can't talk about marriage on the first date because then that's going to run me off. That only runs off non-committal men. So you have to go in with the mindset of marriage. Be open to those conversations. If a man is not open to those conversations, if he gets pushback, if he says, well, marriage is just a piece of paper, if he says, well, the relationship is the important thing and marriage is the icing on the cake and you work to that, he's more than likely the man who is going to try to he wants you to convince him that it's worth marriage, it's worth his time and effort, right? That he's going to benefit. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm not talking about the guys who seem like they want marriage through the conversations that they're having. No, I'm not talking about those guys. You have to be wary of those guys. Their conversations are so abstract, you can't really nail them down to any specifics. Like, when do you see yourself getting married? Well, I haven't really thought about it. I want marriage, but not anytime soon. If you know you want marriage right now, that is not the guy for you. He is not going to give you what you need. If you don't have time to wait, if you are under the age of 25, you don't have time to wait. You don't have 5 years. If you are under 25, then I can understand that conversation. You get into the relationship, if you're like 20 years old, you have about 5 to 7 years before he's going to be ready to settle down and get married. If you're 25 and above, you do not have 5 to 7 years to wait for him to settle down and get married. You need to be looking for men who are ready to marry at the same time that you are. That is the key to getting married for women over the age of 25. You just simply need to deal with the men who are in the marriage market. Yet, you also have to understand and contend with the fact and the reality that these men are not going to come in your ideal package. And if you can't get beyond that, you're going to find yourself likely alone and not getting married, at least not at the time that you want.